Ukraine is concerned Putin will use decentralized digital money to get around the penalties, while Ukraine is using the platforms to raise much-needed aid, with over $55 million donated so far. It's the first big test for cryptos, which have universally been seen as riskier assets. Since the conflict in Ukraine began, Bitcoin is trading over 17% higher.
All right, let's also talk about some of the crypto headlines. First, Ukraine just canceled its airdrop for those that donated to the country's war effort. Now, if you're unfamiliar, an airdrop is a free gift, like a token. It's sent to users to encourage them to contribute to a project. The Ukrainian government promised that anyone who donated to the country's crypto wallets by 11 a.m. Eastern today would receive a gift. But just today, Ukraine's vice prime minister said the drop was canceled after careful consideration. The country instead will issue NFTs. Ukraine has now received crypto donations worth more than $54 million, according to Elliptic.
It's been incredible to see how the world has rallied and stand united around Ukraine after this completely unwarranted attack by President Putin from Russia against Ukraine. It's been almost a week now since Russia has declared war on Ukraine, even though it feels like ages ago. Here are some of the key takeaways from what has happened since then. What historically happens after war is that on the announcement of the war, stock markets and risk-on assets such as Bitcoin up until now tank on the announcement of the war and gold soars. This time was no different. However, what happened next was something right out of the playbook of Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin himself, and has since opened a lot of people's eyes to the true value of crypto and how the world is creating the opportunity to see the best use case crypto could ever have in humanity. Although Bitcoin is still considered to be a risk-on asset, I believe that narrative will change over time as more and more adoption comes to Bitcoin. And although it's not deemed yet as a safe haven, especially during difficult times, it has been incredible to see how people have turned to Bitcoin to preserve their currency's value and to take sovereignty over their own money during these dark and dismal times. Many speculate that the recent surge in Bitcoin's price on volume was due to people in Ukraine and Russia turning to crypto as their safe haven asset, which is why it started to soar in value. This surge seems to point to the initial signals of Bitcoin reversing trend, of Bitcoin flipping bullish, and we may be in for some bullish action for the short to mid-term now here in March. And here's what happened following up to these events that you should know about. Some of the world's greatest powers started cutting off Russian business and banking transactions, and Visa and MasterCard blocked Russian transactions from transacting on their network. And then the unthinkable happened. US President Joe Biden announced earlier when the war first broke out that cutting Russia off from the SWIFT system was on the table, but it wouldn't be enforced yet, as many EU countries were concerned that they would never see their money back as they were the creditors for Russian entities. Now, that has all changed and history is being made as for the first time ever, many Russian banks have been cut off effectively from the SWIFT system as a reaction to President Putin's aggressive acts of war. The sanctions against Russia, which initially only sounded like empty threats, seemingly only affecting the Russian oligarchs and elite population, ramped up overnight, in what felt like overnight, to affect the entire Russian population as the Russian economy came crumbling down and subsequently caused a bank run, just like the one in Canada, where citizens both in Russia and Ukraine were flocking to the banks to take out their money, and reportedly one Ukrainian said all they can access is $3,000 worth of their life savings. The Russian ruble then crumbled to all-time lows, and Bitcoin flipped the ruble. That's right, Bitcoin is now more valuable than the Russian ruble and has a much larger market cap of roughly $120 billion more than the ruble. And exchange data shows that the Russian people were flocking to cryptocurrency to conserve their currency's value during this time. Have a look at this chart, which shows the total decline and absolute chaos that ensued as the Russian ruble went down and the citizens of Russia turned to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. In fact, there was such a demand that ensued after all of this chaos that Russian citizens were reportedly paying $20,000 over market price just to obtain Bitcoin as a refuge to their falling currency. Many have voiced their concerns about bad actors turning to crypto during these dark times to use for bad things, such as Russian oligarchs, elite, and even the Russian government trying to evade these sanctions. However, Binance and Coinbase CEO have stepped out and said they refuse to blanket ban Russian crypto accounts, as that is not what crypto sets out to do. Crypto's mission is to provide a greater financial freedom, and they cannot freeze all Russian crypto accounts because many of those Russian people are innocent and have effectively been forced into this war and should be able to have access to their funds. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this matter. Comment below and let's have a conversation. On the flip side, although it is far from being considered a safe haven asset yet, Bitcoin has played a crucial role in getting Ukraine through these dark, tough times and has actually been saving lives. One Ukrainian took to Twitter to describe how crypto literally saved his life. In his tweet, he said, "My Ukrainian credit cards don't work anymore. I'm physically safe in Kazakhstan, but all of my savings are gone. Crypto is the only money I still have, and today I can say without exaggeration that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NFTs will save my life while I can't come back home." The president of Ukraine publicly took to Twitter to call on the world for help during Ukraine's time of need by donating crypto to its public Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT Tether addresses. The world answered, and since then, Ukraine has received almost $40 million worth of crypto donations. It's also worth noting that since the breakout of this war, Ukrainian crypto adoption has soared to all new heights, and it is now the 4th largest per capita adoption rate in the world. So you might be wondering, what's next as a crypto investor? Whether or not this bullish uptick in price was caused by people turning to Bitcoin as a safe haven in the midst of the world crisis, or simply market manipulation coming toward the end of the monthly close to push Bitcoin in a bullish direction, the following still holds true. We have been between fear and extreme fear on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index for so long now. Sentiment in the market is dismal, and governmental, worldwide crisis and emotional sentiment is at an all-time low and has seemingly reached its peak. These have historically been the absolute best times to be accumulating Bitcoin. We also have to take into consideration in crypto markets that once everybody is on the same bandwagon preaching the same narrative, in whether that be all positive and to the moon or all negative and doom and gloom, that is typically the moment when the trend changes and we are going to be paying attention. You don't want to be late to a trend. As we reach the end of this episode, it's important to remember that the world situation could change on the drop of a dime as news is traveling at lightning speed during these unprecedented times and the war with Russia and Ukraine. That is why it's important to stick to your strategy. And this is not financial advice, so please do your own research, but historically, the best times to be investing in these markets in crypto and NFTs is when sentiment is low and things are red across the board, especially when we are considered to be in a bullish uptrend on a macro scale. And then simply wait for the time when all of your hard work, your patience, and the effort you put in trying to understand these markets will be paid off as other people around the world start to realize what we already know to be true on this channel, and that is that cryptocurrency and NFTs are the future. I'm your host, Crypto Megan. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's it for today. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as I'm gonna keep you updated on everything that's happening in these markets. I just wanted to give a shout out to all of my new Patreon members, especially Gold. It's been an all-time high week for Gold member signups, people who want to take their crypto and NFT education seriously. I will be your private mentor and coach, and I am so excited to go on this journey with you, and I guarantee you, as a pioneer in this space, you will be highly rewarded for your efforts and your patience and your hard work in learning the ins and outs of this market now. So I'm honored to be your personal mentor, and I cannot wait to get started.